Corla. Minister, I think what's going on here is really best summed up by Wood Mackenzie themselves in their, no doubt, very expensive report paid for by us, when they state that the recommended system will greatly improve the perception of the fiscal terms. And I think that is largely what this is. It's the perception rather than the reality which has been addressed. And I think Terence Conway from Shell to Sea summed it up very accurately when he said, as could be expected from a company so closely linked with the oil industry, the Wood Mackenzie report still recommends continuing to give the oil companies control over and the vast majority of the profits from whatever oil and gas is found. The state will still take no share in production and will have no control over what happens to our oil and gas, whether it is landed in Ireland or supplied to the Irish market. And that really is the essence of this. The report has 11 recommendations. I think some of them were just put in to fill a bit of space because some of them were already in place. And the critical absence is the fact that the changes that are proposed are not retrospective. So the best areas for which licences have already been given out will continue to be subjected to the very same terms which have been so clearly exposed in the eyes of citizens, thanks largely to the work of campaigners like Shell to Sea. Terms which did result in a 100 billion giveaway of our oil and gas resources. Appalling treachery carried out by Ray Burke, abolishing royalties, reducing our returns, and Bertie Ahern after him, reducing the tax rate for the profits made from the sale of resources down to 25%. And as other deputies have said, allowing companies to write off 100% of their costs before they have to declare any profits, which will be taxed at the paltry rates in the first place. And as a result of that, we have the scenario where in 2008, a study of 45 international fiscal companies showed that the Ireland returns were the lowest of all of them, half of the US and the UK and less than a third of Norway. And I think that this arrangement isn't going to change that. The natural resources owned by the people of this country were given away by Fianna Fáil to be bought back by citizens, indeed at ever-increasing prices at the market rate, and so it remains. And I really think the flaw in what's been proposed here is that it is totally and utterly reliant on private companies to deliver, and that's far-sighted, and it inevitably means that the Irish people are going to be the losers of that. Because even if you did have a situation where exploration was facilitated and you get a trickle of returns there, that is not going to transform the economy. It's our gas and our oil. And I think it is a bitter irony that the Norwegian people, through the state oil company of Statoil, are going to benefit from our gas resources more than any Irish people will. And it really is regrettable that there is no vision from the government on this. Why not come up with an idea of cutting out the middleman? I think we'd all agree that the Irish state on its own, or a state-owned oil company, isn't going to have the resources itself to be able to explore the potential of what's there. That is true. But why not link up directly, government to government, state oil company to another state oil company, for example, with the Norwegian government, approach them directly to see what their exploration methods we could link up with and benefit from? What about other countries who've control over their own oil resources? The Russian oil company, for example, has had some great innovative techniques in terms of some of its discoveries. Why not approach them directly and see what expertise we could develop on and cut out the middlemen or the multinationals? Why not look at some of the benefits that have been delivered by the Venezuelan government, taking more control over its oil resources, being used to make a real difference in the lives of ordinary people? Instead, what's being proposed here is a few extra crumbs, really, to be handed over for what are our resources. And I think in that sense we're looking at it very much the wrong way round. And as a result of that, you have parts of this country where you have communities under siege, where on Garda Síochána are turned over as basically private security agents of a multinational company to keep people intimidated in their homes, a community divided and a bitter legacy. And for what? Irish people will gain practically nothing out of the Corrib experience other than a bitter legacy. And in terms of what the potential could have been, it is a wasted opportunity. opportunity, and I'm sad to say that I don't think this arrangement is going to alter that in any significant way whatsoever, and I would absolutely echo the points made by Deputy Colreevy in terms of learning the lessons and ensuring that there is no fracking engaged on these shores either.